it's Carolyn here to share the September energy update from the Light Keepers. So today I'm going to read the channel that came through earlier for you on what to expect in September. Again, many of you who have followed me for some time know that we're continuing along a theme, kind of a story, a trajectory of what they have seen for us moving forward. A lot of it's metaphoric, but it also has a scenario attached to it, and I'll give a little bit of a summary in advance before I actually read the new September energy update, because it is shifting and changing. We're moving into a period of time here in the fall toward the end of the year where I guess I would just say it's going to look very different than and feel very different than what we experienced June, July, and August. I will also channel hopefully something toward the end there more for you. Most of it's in the written word though. What I do is I actually channel in advance because it's so lengthy, and I also have conversation with them back and forth. I do a lot of the talking that they bring the words through for me, and then they also speak in their voice, as has been in the past for these energy updates. However, at the end there may be some things that I'll bring through. I'm kind of wanting to see what they'll say about some very literal kinds of things that we as individuals need to focus on or should focus on, although it kind of seems obvious in the channel, but also maybe what we can expect collectively or kind of more so on a global scale. I just keep thinking of Earth events for some reason. So I don't know. We'll see what we get at the end. But the channel itself is really robust. So I think you're going to get a lot out of it. And as I say, I always hope you take a couple things away that help you along your journey. Another couple puzzle pieces for the puzzle of your own journey. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel. I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I offer these channels from the Light Keepers to assist you on your journey forward of ascension and awakening. So for those of you who are new, welcome, and thank you to everybody who always joins me. I so appreciate your comments, as I've mentioned. And again, I really learn a lot from all of you. It's not that I have all the answers. I also am learning as we go through this journey, and I'm so grateful to have you all here. So do like, share, and subscribe. It helps get the messages from the Light Keepers out to more people. So with that, below in the description box, you're going to see where you can actually click on a link, and it will take you to a video, an initial video on flow, and how to create that in your body for health and wellness during this important time of ascension, where the body is a vessel we travel in this journey. And what it then does is it takes you to a weekly email where I bring in a channel from the Light Keepers to support you on your week forward. Typically they're sent to you on a Friday or a Saturday of the previous week. So join me there too. And don't forget, if you're on Facebook, join me at Purple Rain Healing. That is where I post extensive amounts of poems from the Light Keepers, different from what you'll see anywhere else. So with that, we're just going to get going. We're going to read the channel, and then we're going to close out with maybe some final thoughts. I hope you enjoy this. You will see the change and shift even more in time. The rest of the year is brought in your way, where you may slip and slide. And understand, you will not fall, for you have grown so much, and now you are tall, taller than you've ever been, walking on the path to the light in your way. You see it and you know it, and yet everything around you feels like it's crumbling down, falling down. Will the collateral damage hit you in your way? But no, it will not. But you will be less blind as you travel the journey from the days of it being all about you, of working from your deep inside, the sheltered version of you. And now you bring the new you in your way to assist in building the new life that is here for you. And you look around, but you do not do it too much. Again, we say, step your toe in, but don't fall in. But what is happening in the world wide will seem closer to you, knocking on your door at times, but you stand strong, oh yes you do. For you understand who you are. You have done your work, and you will continue to do so. Even though you feel at times you will slip and slide and feel like you will lose your balance. But no, you will not. And then you will be offered a quick glide down the slide. As other things come crumbling down, institutions and constructs of what humans have done in their day, for all must fall apart in time for it to be rebuilt at the same time. So what you will feel is like the world is falling apart. For yes, it is, but it is because all of you are thinking another way, wishing for more and different. So know that everyone is in time wanting a different way, and the new earth comes from these wishes of your deep insights. What has been built in humankind must be broken down, so the new can be built in time, a new 0 point for everyone. But it is also a collective journey. So what you are seeing is the wishes of everyone in the divine, knowing that no longer can they continue along the old pathway. The energies are ripe for the Aquarian age now, for you are creating, but now all must fall apart in time. And know that not everyone is wishing to go the same way, nor are they working on themselves too, from the human perspective. But deep inside, their higher self is working to lead the way. And now you know more of your brethren are coming your way. You're seeing them off to the side, wondering and pondering, question marks over their head. What is this that is coming their way? For they can no longer live in this kind of life. And yet the version of their world may be very different than what you wish at this time. For understand that love is the only thing that can assist in going down the bright and light pathway. For they will stand off to the side and wonder and ponder as parts of their world fall down. Understand that those of you on the bright light pathway know this deepness of love brought to all of humankind will cause the crumbling and falling of what has been. And it will fall along their pathway when they start to understand what is really brought about in the new earth. Their perspective will begin to change, but do not worry about what is in their pathway, for it is what you see in front of you, for you are building the new earth in time, each to their own. For it is the greater of you, the light workers, who have done the work in time, and now understand that it is from love of what you think and feel, and then what you will manifest too. So then I come in and I start talking. And I start getting information in my voice. And I said, so I need to talk about the picture I'm seeing. So what we're very much showing is last month we left off on this light pathway. But two things happened. We had Lionsgate and we had the August energy update that we offered. But what we saw was this star, this bright light in the horizon that we were following, like the new day to come. And we also saw that Lionsgate took us a step up. Remember the platform where I said it was like the Academy Awards, when they have the performances where they're dancing and they jump up on steps and the steps light up? Lionsgate took us to a fully different place, that step up. And most of us really know something shifted and changed. And it's been a very powerful August. That's where we are with these new energies. And that's us. That's the light workers who continue digging and working on themselves and moving forward on the pathway. But now what we're seeing is all these people kind of stopped in their tracks, like looking around, realizing, oh my gosh, things are changing, things are coming crumbling down in my life, also across the worldwide. And we're seeing this, and we are looking at the breaking down, but we're not turning around, but we see this off to the side as we continue on. But what we're starting to see now as we keep moving along this light pathway, and we keep moving forward on this new level, we're not going up more steps though, but we're on this new level of this journey. And yet what we're seeing is a greater connection to the outside of us, the outside world. Alongside the pathway we are on, the crumbling is occurring around us. It's like a video game, almost like a crumbling down of the constructs of institutions. The shaking and quaking is what you're saying, and dust is hitting us, almost like we're encountering some of this now. Because we've worked so much on our own individual selves and been very internal. Now this is being presented to the outside world, and the outside world is being presented to us even more. More for interaction is the word I'm hearing. It doesn't mean to go drown ourselves in it. I keep getting more of the outside world. And yet we won't need to search it out. If it comes to us, we will know what to do. We don't have to search this out. It's some balancing out of energetics and our influence upon the constructs and the institutions, the outside world, those who are our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers. It's like we're going to be intermeshed more in a way where our light worker self is going to be able to engage more in the outside world because of how we have built ourselves to be. And that's going to assist in the influence and the tipping point. Oh my gosh, I have so many chills. The tipping point. The fact that we have built ourselves up to this beautiful light, and the tipping point now is starting to come because of the influx. Ooh, you're showing me a visual of a blow-up pool, a very large inflatable pool. And if somebody sits on the edge of the blow-up pool, the water starts flowing out, and then it can't stop. It's like a tidal wave. So you get enough of that water flowing out of the pool, out comes the rest. This is our metaphor. That's what I'm seeing as well. I have so many chills on this. Now we are interacting in some way, but not that we're searching this out. But it's coming to us from the external world, from outside of us, where we've been very sheltered for a while, in many ways, creating our own journey forward. Now that we have started to do this, more of the outside world is coming our way for us to influence through our light, through our interactions. But again, it's not about going and searching it out. It's about the interaction we will have naturally. And it's going to show up because ultimately it's this tipping point. We aren't separate from what's happening. We aren't separate. We've just brought in more light into ourselves. We've done the work. We've created a stronger presence. That is influencing more of the crumbling down, but also the influencing more of those who get pulled. It's magnetic. It's a magnetic situation. They're going to be pulled to us is what I'm showing as we go down this pathway. Oh, I have chills. And so it's a slippery slide where we may feel oftentimes like we're going to get pulled down and get lost on the slippery slide. But no, we're still on the light, bright pathway headed in the same direction. It just feels different because we're not used to this. We've been used to being on our own, doing our own work. And now we're finding a new balance on the slippery slide. And it's going to feel a little unbalanced, a little tenuous, because we're going to have more interaction with what I'll just call the outside world. Because it's about continuing that flow, that tidal flow pool. That's what I'm being shown, and how the tide gets pulled in and out. Well, we're pulling the rest of them with us, but we are having more interaction. Maybe possibly in human form and physically speaking, and it may feel a little scary because it's a different feeling that we're going to have. Because now, as you say, we can no longer isolate ourselves fully, is what I'm showing. But that's going to feel possibly a little frightening. But no fear, but we have to stand strong and know that no, that's not the case, because what we're doing is we're sharing our light now, and we're open more to those outside of us who show up and come our way. And that this isolation that we've been doing for so long, it's shifting and changing. So in some ways it feels like we're getting prepared for our cocooning times to wrap up. For many of us, that is. Not everyone, but for many of us. And it feels like this year, as we're moving into the end of the year, it feels like Lionsgate got us prepared for this, or is getting us prepared. Massive internal and energetic change to face the world again. And again, in many ways, for us to be able to now interact with the greater of humankind. But again, not searching it out, not looking back over our shoulders, just allowing what shows up in our awareness, those who show up in our awareness, situations that show up in our awareness. They're meant for us to deal with rather than shirking away from them necessarily, if that makes sense. It's a different interaction we're having with what I will say is the rest of humankind. And that means continuing on your pathway, continuing to do the things that are right for you, but it feels like we're going to be brought more into the awareness of the greater populace who will then be coming to us. That may look very complex, or it may look super simple. It may be your neighbor coming to you, who normally irritates you, and you'd rather not have that interaction, but they need you. They need you for something, and you know it. And this is also going to test your resolve to the light worker that you are. Potentially, that interaction that you would normally have avoided will be in front of you to deal with. We're going to be on this slippery slide of feeling like we're going to encounter this world that is falling apart, and it's going to impact our light. But understand that we have and are still doing this work for ourselves too. But we've built ourselves up so much, particularly this summer, that now as we move into the rest of this year, we're going to encounter a lot of what feels like times where our inner light feels like a beacon. We're like a beacon, and they will come to the beacon. And we have to hold our light like a moth to the flame. But we're going to know how to do it. But understand, it will look and feel a bit different. But it's our time. It's our time, whether it be one person or many. Just watch what comes to you. Watch what interaction shows up and comes to you. And take a deep breath. And know that it's meant to be, and this is where we're going to be standing in our new light now. I think more than ever before, I think it's going to take patience. It's going to take inner resolve. It's going to take standing in our light, centering ourselves. And I don't feel like we're going to be able to get pulled back in. But it's going to feel so close to all of us. All of this so close to us. And we will have these interactions moving forward. And then they say, oh yes, dear one, we find a slippery slide it will seem in time. You will feel like you're losing your footing, but you will not. And you'll know it deep inside in your day. It is the physical world responding to your light and coming closer. For you will show the light, bright pathway while falling down around the earth and all the constructs in time. For she, the earth, is rebuilding herself. And understand, it is what you see in the earth and world which will continue to bubble up and shift and change in time. The waters will come too, and the earth will shift and change from its foundation. This will continue. For the change that you see in the earth is what is happening to you. Shaken and quaked and awakened we find. The rivers of tears sweep away, oh yes, the dark times. And the waters that she cries that are swept across the world wide are the tears that cleanse, yes, you, and of humankind, and the earth too we find. So look at it differently, for you are on the light, bright pathway, slipping and sliding and wondering what is crumbling around and down. But you know it and you feel it, and yet it is just getting new footing as the others come to you in time, looking for your light. Do not look over your shoulders, we again say, for what will come your way of what is naturally meant for you of the divine to assist your brethren. For you are the beauty of the light, and meant to bring the light into humankind, to change the earth forever in a day. For you know who you are today. As you center in yourself, the Creator that exists deep inside of you is making your own pathway. Know that you can manifest anything in time. The light that you shine of love for yourself, for you know who you are too, will then be brought about to the others, which attracts them in time. And then when they come your way, bless them with the beauty of who you are, of words and smiles and love, and giving your heart to those who are entering in your pathway. You will be guided. Just know that you are ready for this mission. You are here, the light worker of all time, we say, and we bless you and wish you a gentle pathway. We are here and never far, your angels and guides and your higher self in your day. Trust and know that what is in front of you is meant for you, and they for you. We leave you in light and love this day, now and forevermore, the Light Keepers. Okay, so there's a lot here, and I guess I really am not going to summarize. I'm just going to hit on a couple of points of things that as I was reading this, that I was thinking about and was kind of coming to me. What the visual is that I keep getting when I was getting this channel, and it's very much, it's kind of like one of those really high-tech movies where they're just showing like really advanced movie making, where you're going down this light pathway, and then suddenly all these constructs, and they're showing buildings. All these gray, black, dark buildings are just starting to crumble down into dust. Now, this does not mean literally everything's going to fall apart overnight. All right, we've talked about this before. But we're going to see some significant shift and change, at least in September, starting in September, is what this is a metaphor for. And as this starts coming crumbling down, it's kind of like how when they take an old building down, that's what they're showing me right now, and they detonate it, and it comes straight down, and that dust comes out. We're closer to it, but it's not because we sought it out. And what they were giving me as I was reading this is, okay, how do I explain this? Because this is a little bit new. It's added to this, but it's it's the light reverberation of us, of the mass of humanity, the light reverberation. Oh, I have so many chills talking about this. Is so strong that as we quake in our way, and oh my gosh, look at me. We are the ones that are assisting in bringing down those old buildings, those old constructs, those old institutions. We've talked all about what those are, and you all know what they are, the old and antiquated ways of being and living and putting ourselves in boxes, whether it be political, religious, it goes on and on, right? So we're seeing that. We're seeing people also make different individual choices within themselves, which is changing the world that they live in. And when they change the world that they live in, it manifests on the outside. So because so many in humanity are doing this right now, that's the crumbling down of what we see on the outside and all that we're, not spending a lot of time looking over our shoulder at, but all the difficulties we're seeing. This is happening because we are all making choices to have a new earth. But the thing that really showing me now is the light worker way. They just said it's go time. Oh my God, I have so many chills. So it's going to look different for each of us, but it's go time in some different way than it has been before, like this impact that we're going to have and this just our reverberation, this light that we've brought in. And you know how massive this summer has been. This reverberation of our light to assisting in the crumbling down of our old belief systems and our old constructs and our old institutions that don't work anymore. And at the same time, as we've talked in the past, there is the building up that's happening too. All right. So I want you to know that. But it feels like it's going to be more in our face. But because our light is so bright right now, like we're with this work we're doing, we're going to see this shaking and quaking really starting. And so the earth is going through the same thing. So that's what we have to know. And they just beautifully, poetically put that into place for us. The tears that we shed are clearing our cellular memory. Well, the tears, the waters, the flooding, all of that, that's the earth's tears, the shedding, the clearing, all of this. It's the same thing. We're living vessels, as is the earth. So as we go through our shift and change, so does the earth. And as the earth goes through our shift and change, so do we. So it was, I don't even need to repeat it because it was so well said. So what we're going to encounter is this slippery slide. Like we feel like we're losing our footing because, oh my gosh, look what's around us. If I slip, am I going to fall and go backwards and lose my light? No. No, you're not. Because this is why we're where we are. We have gotten to be such a strong presence that this tipping point, the pool, the inflatable pool, that's happening now. It feels like, wow. You know that whole 100th monkey thing of like it's just like the tipping point. It's like the inflatable pool. It's the same thing. Then everybody else comes up. It's magnetic. They said it here. And I have had the strangest last week of them trying to teach me about magnetism. And it led to this, and it's led to a couple other things talking about relationships and the whole magnetic situation of the poles. And I haven't delved into this because I really don't have time, and I want to understand the science behind it. But they're trying to explain to me it's magnetism. And they brought it through in the channel. Needless to say, it can't be denied that the light that we have is pulling others our way. It's reaching a tipping point. It's the inflatable pool, sitting on the edge. These are all metaphors for you to think about, okay? And having the water flow out, everybody coming with us, the constructs and institutions breaking down. But we're gonna see more dust in our pathway. It's gonna be a slippery slide. It's kind of like all of a sudden, and it's not like the mirage, really. It's just that we're now ready to encounter more of this, but it doesn't mean we're going to go drown in it. It's just, there's always that, here we are, here's the old earth. So it's the influence we have close enough, but not enmeshed. I hope some of these metaphors help you make sense of this. Additionally, the way this can happen, as they mentioned, is it may be really super simple things, right? It doesn't mean massive, big, huge things you're going to have to deal with. Some of us, I do believe, will. I think we will in the collective. There will be some massive things happening, as there have been continuing to, kind of tick one off after the other lately. But it's going to be, we're all going to be called to a higher place. We're all going to be called to share more of who we are. And it really feels like for many of us, and again, not everybody's here in this place. We're all at different stages, but what you got to know is this is where you're going. You're going to join if you're not ready for this, but there's a whole group of us ready for this where we're done with that cocooning part. It doesn't mean you're not going to take care of yourself and do the self-care, but we're going to start reaching out more. We're going to have things come to us more. where we're needed. And each to their own on this. I hope this helps be able to understand a bit of what September, I feel like, is going to start. This whole June, July, and August were completely different than what I'm feeling for September and forward. September kind of seems like, okay, they just set a catalyst. Oh, they just set a catalyst for the way forward. I guess we'll see what happens. And again, I hope you have so enjoyed this. This was, they keep using the same storyline and adding things along the way. But I think we're ready. I really think we're ready to be out in front in many ways. It's going to feel different. It's going to feel like the slippery slide. Just keep that in mind. And maybe for many of us, it won't. So we'll just see what happens. And I certainly wish you well. And I can't wait to hear your comments. I always love the synchronicity and the things that you all notice in your own journey and how it kind of relates to maybe some of the channels coming through or even some of the channels that some of you get, which is fascinating to me. So again, I will leave you with my services, purplerainhealing.com. I would love to work with you. I channel like this prolifically in all of my services for you, for your individual journey, whether it be you wanting to have it in documented form or do that one-on-one with me. So I also offer spiritual awakening mentoring where we do this on a regular basis. We talk on a regular basis to be able to assist you forward in all the things that are going on in the awakening journey, and so much can change so fast. These are wonderful sessions, very robust, hour-long sessions where you get channeled information throughout the session in a conversational format with you and me. So anyway, I hope you will join me. I'd love to work with you. purplerainhealing.com. And again, thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.